The prospect of being the best person in the entire world in your favorite sport seems like a far-fetched pipe dream for most of us. But for the 800 watercross competitors converging on Lake Havasu for the Scat Track World Championships, that dream is all they live for.
For me, it is just, the biggest race of my life, especially coming from another country. It's the best of the world are going to be here. The people with the fastest boats are going to be out there, and all around, it's just a great event.
It's what you always dream of. Ever since I started racing skis, 6 years ago, world finals to be world champion is you can't beat it. There is nothing else better than the world finals.
It's just a really exciting event that I probably couldn't live without.
Who is the best on the planet? Stay with us to find out as the nations of the world collide on Lake Havasu at the Scat Track Watercross World Championships.
It's an American tradition that is now 2 decades running, and it's bigger and better than ever. Over 800 competitors from 34 different countries are racing in 36 different classes. Welcome to Lake Havasu City, Arizona for the 8th and final day of the 2001 Scat Track Watercross World Championships here on the beautiful Colorado River. Hello, David Stanfield along with Rick Lake, and one thing we can say about Lake Havasu City and the World Championships is expect the unexpected.
And that is because the one word synonymous with the World Championships is pressure. Unlike a long series, the National Championship and 8-race tour, this event comes down to 1 day of racing 2 motos combined points for a world title.
Let's talk about our hero, the man that has done it all, and he's back again, Jeff Jacobs, the defending world champion in pro ski.
There's no question that Lake Havasu is Jeff Jacobs' house. Jacobs comes into the event with 9 world championships under his belt.
Jacobs knows to win a world championship, you have to do well in 2 motos. Let's look back at moto number 1. And one thing we learned, Jeff Jacobs was on his game.
No question about Jacobs looked really good in Moto 1. Right here, a leg drag. Very unusual for Jacobs. Very, very smooth style, but by no means did Jacobs dominate in Moto 1.
Equally as intense was Dustin John Motzouris, the 20-year-old out of South Africa, aboard the Kawasaki SXI Pro. He was charging.
Motzouris on the gas, on the Kawi, gets around Jacobs into second place, but as a young upstart out of Belgium, Renaud Urbain on the Yamaha Superjet that took the early lead.
Urbain led 9 laps, but problems over the log jump took him out. And Motzouris went into the lead, and even that lead was short-lived.
When I went over the log jump, I scooped a piece of the rubber up through the scoop grate, and it got stuck in the prop. And it wouldn't spin out, and I just kept a pin trying to burn the piece of rubber out. And I was swinging the boat around. Eventually, luckily for me, it dislodged and spat out the back, but that could have cost me the whole race right there.
Where was our U.S. national champion, Chris McCluggage? Well, he crashed in the first turn, then went ballistic through the pack and worked his way back up to 5th position.
McCluggage, suffering from allergies today, leaves the responsibility to his teammate, Motzouris.
On lap 14, Motzouris passes Jacobs and takes Moto 1 win. Momentum, Kawasaki. Final results of Moto 1, Motzouris, Jacobs, Sheldon, Rius, and McCluggage. We are seconds away from our pro ski main event, the second and final deciding moto. Let's take a look at the closed course layout.
This year's World Championship race course quite a bit different than years past in that there is no long back straightaway. There is a split section. The racers have an option of taking the inside or the outside split. 2 log jumps on the right-hand side will give the ski racers fits.
Absent on the line, here's the news. Chris McCluggage is pulled out. He is not going after the pro ski title. We're set to go. And if you've got a need for speed, take a look at this start.
Look at that hole shot by Dustin Motzouris on the Kawasaki. Motzouris with a great start. Jacobs right behind him in second.
Solid speeds up to 55, maybe 60 miles per hour. Now, the field splits into 2 different courses. That outside course carries plenty of speed.
No question, Motzouris with a great jump on the inside, but it's Nicolas Rius, the great French champion, on the outside course. Look at that style by Rius down the front straightaway behind Motzouris.
And remember, on this first lap, they do not negotiate the log jumps, which caused a lot of problems for Dustin Motzouris in that first moto.
Motzouris right now on his Kawasaki, out in front with clean water, really trying to take advantage of the course conditions early on, trying to pull out a lead over Rius. Rius charging on that Rius Racing Yamaha Superjet in second.
Rius out of France, but now lives here in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and his one goal all year long is defend or win the World Championship titles.
Can you imagine what's going on right now in Motzouris' mind? He is out in front of Moto number 2. He's already won Moto number 1, chasing down his dream of winning his first pro world title.
A lot of pressure on this young 20-year-old out of South Africa. Remember, Rius is hounding him. Jacobs is looking good. His teammate, Chris McCluggage, is pulled out of the pro ski class. This moto, he's saving himself for the pro runabout class because he's feeling ill. But Motzouris got the most incredible hole shot.
We've seen it all season long in the National Tour. Team Kawasaki, both McCluggage and Motzouris able to pull hole shots race after race. No different here at the World Championships. We can see right here Motzouris with a great jump out of the line. He looks over at Jacobs. Jacobs on the inside, and Motz with another hole shot.
Today is like the Super Bowl. One day, 2 motos and a World Championship title on the line, and it's not an easy task.
Just with it being a one-shot deal makes it tough. With the National Tour, if you make a mistake one weekend, you have the opportunity to bring back and make points up later on in the series. Where here, you cannot make a mistake. We get that, down to Sunday, we have two motos, and definitely don't want to make any mistakes out there.
Well, on the National Tour, he had 2 wins, a 4th overall, but today, the biggest day ever, he's out in front. Rius is currently running 2nd, and Jeff Jacobs in 3rd.
The defending world champion had a 2nd place finish in Moto number 1, and he's keeping himself in very good position right here, 4th overall again. He's keeping the pressure on. Here comes Urbain, the young Belgian, the 18-year-old, who's looked so good, and Urbain takes a shot over that log jump. Very difficult riding conditions right now on the race course. And 77, Steven Dauliach, the great French rider who really emerged this year on the National Tour, is riding a very good race today.
Dauliach looking strong, currently running in 5th. Our top 4 is Motzouris, Rius, Jacobs, and Urbain. The 2001 Scat Track Watercross World Championship from Lake Havasu City, Arizona continues. Stay with us.
The Scat Track Watercross World Championships is brought to you by Yamaha Wave Runners, the most popular boat on the water, Kawasaki Jet Ski Watercraft, authentic jet ski, only by Kawasaki, and by Scat Track, your pump and impeller experts.
Welcome back to the 2001 Scat Track Watercross World Championships from Lake Havasu City, Arizona. We are in our Pro Ski Moto number 2 championship final, and Dustin Motzouris, the young South African, is out in front trying to hold off the Frenchman, Nicolas Rius.
So far, Motzouris has ridden a brilliant race, keeping Rius behind it, charging, and Motzouris is down over the log jump. He looks back and sees Rius go into the lead, and Motzouris is still down. He had a problem in the first moto with something getting jammed in the pump, and it looks like he's got another problem. It could be the same thing. We don't know right now. Anyway, he is down, shaking his head, and Rius rockets into the lead.
Nicolas Rius is taking a fast track to the checkered flag. Remember, Moto number 1, he was 4th. Right now he leads. Jeff Jacobs currently running in 2nd. For Motzouris, what a heartbreak.
And you can see the Kawasaki mechanics right here frantically pulling something out of the intake area of the pump. In Moto number 1, Motzouris did pick up a piece of rubber off of the log jump. May have happened again. It looks that way. He's back up and underway, but he is way down. Meanwhile, out in front, it's Rius with the lead. On the Rius Racing Yamaha Superjet, Nicolas with a 4th place finish in Moto number 1, going after a world title.
Out in front, nothing new for Nicolas Rius, who shocked the international personal watercraft racing world by becoming the first foreign-born rider to capture the IJSBA World Championship back in 1993. He was injured during the season, but he is stronger than ever right now.
Well, after my injury in the 7th round on tour, I broke the tailbone. I broke my butt, so I got to take 7 weeks off, 7-8 weeks off. And since the beginning of September, I've been up 5 o'clock, 5:30 every morning, training and go practice every afternoon. So, I'm ready, I'm hungry, and I want to do it.
A broken tailbone suffered during this year's Long Beach National Tour stop, but yes, he's fast and he's healthy. Nicolas Rius, the number 1 on a ski, means he's the 2000 national champion.
Nobody in the sport is more fit than Nicolas Rius. He trains incredibly hard, and it's paying off right now. He's out in front, very rough conditions, and we got a great battle shaping up right now for 4th and 5th place between the great legend Victor the Slasher Sheldon and Renaud Urbain, the young Belgian upstart who looks so good in Moto number 1, and they are going at it.
Urbain, just 18 years old aboard the Yamaha Superjet, is the 2000 European champion, and his brother's the Euro champion in pro ski. A lot of racing experience from his family.
And here comes the Slasher Sheldon up behind Urbain with the pressure on. Urbain makes a mistake, misses the log jumps, got to go back and make it up, and the Slasher jams into 4th place right now behind Dauliach in 3rd.
Victor Sheldon aboard the greater Yamaha Superjet. really intimidated the young rider out of Belgium. Victor moves into fourth. Our current leader, though, is Nicolas Rius.
Nicolas took over the lead from Dustin Motzouris and has never looked back. He's doing a great job out in front. Jeff Jacobs in second place, however, and Jacobs right now with the second place for Moto number 1 will give him the world title if things stay as they are.
For Nicolas Rius, right now you can hear the whistle, the white flag's coming out, 1 lap to go. He's not looking back. He's thinking he can win this and possibly the World Championships. For Jeff Jacobs, there's no pit boards along the side. He's had to do the math in his head. He knows if he can maintain this position in second, he can win the overall world title. Jeff Jacobs knows all about the pressure of racing. He's been there and done that.
Oh yeah, this event is where all the pressure is. The Nationals, there's a lot of pressure come Sunday morning when you got to get out there and race, but you know, for an entire year, an entire world championship to come down to one event for a Saturday and Sunday, that can exhaust somebody mentally more than anything. And it's up to the rider to be mentally and physically prepared. But I think that's why I do so well out here. It's just such a mental game, and I love it. I love the mental aspects of this sport.
Jeff Jacobs must be loving this day right now because in his head he knows he is the world champion if he can maintain a second position. Meanwhile, out front, it's Nicolas Rius.
Rius with a great ride here in Moto number 2. A 4th place finish in Moto number 1. The combined score will give him a 2nd overall for the day in pro ski. A great way to end the season for Nicolas with this win against the best competition in the world. Great job for Nicolas Rius. But for Jeff Jacobs, a 2nd place finish in Moto number 2, a 2nd place finish in Moto 1. Overall, a world championship for Jacobs. In the history of the world championships, there's been 20 of them. There's been 20 world titles in pro ski. Jacobs has won 10 of them.
For Nicolas Rius, a 4th in the first Moto, and a Moto 2 battle, 1st place finish nets him 2nd overall. But the World Championship award goes to Jeff Jacobs out of San Diego, California. We'll be right back to speak with him. Stay with us. Welcome back to the 2001 Scat Track Watercross World Championships presented by Kawasaki and Yamaha here in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Pro Ski Moto number 2 was won by Nicolas Rius, charging hard on his Rius Racing Yamaha Superjet. For Dustin Motzouris, he won the first Moto and was leading the second Moto, but during lap number 5, his intake was clogged by a piece of rubber from the log jump, and he ended up an 18th in Moto number 2. What a disappointment for Team Kawasaki and a solid Moto win for Nicolas Rius. Final results of that Moto shows Rius, Jacobs, Dauliach, Sheldon, and Windsor the top 5. Now let's go down to Rick Lake.
Nicolas, you came back in Moto 2 and rode a great race for the win.
Well, you know, I was a little disappointed about this morning. You know, my ski didn't start on the line, and so I was last, come up to 4th, and too bad. I mean, you know, and I just win this one, and you know, I need a win in my belt, and I did. Just want to thank all my sponsors, you know, Yamaha and Vance Factory Pipe, and you know, Slippery, Skate Track, all those guys, Carbon Tech. You know, I mean, without those guys, I could not be here, and just have to come back next year. And this year is first year where I came and don't win anything, so it's kind of a little weird feeling. So that's why I'm a little disappointed. But you know, they call me the fighter. I will come back strong. I'm gonna try it all winter, and you know, make all my sponsors and all the fans proud again.
The fighter wins the battle in Moto number 2, but it is the jammer, aka Jackson Jeff Jacobs, 30 years old, out of San Diego, California, aboard the Riva Yamaha Superjet, winning the world title and winning one for America. He's standing by with our own Rick Lake.
Jeff, number 10, tell me about it.
I'll tell you what, I've never been so nervous or felt more pressure in my life than you know, 10 minutes before that race. You know, I know I have the horsepower, I got the boat. My Yamaha was just excellent today on Sunday. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, 10, obviously this ain't my first rodeo, so I just wanted to come out here and be consistent, and that's what I was. 2 seconds, I'll take any day for an overall.
Yeah, you got up there at the start, you had a real good start, you were in 3rd place most of the race, then Motzouris dropped out, you moved into 2nd behind Rius, so you look real comfortable in 2nd. I think you were playing it smart.
Yeah, well, you know, that's my forte. That's what I always penalize myself as. Sometimes I ride too smart and not aggressive enough, but Motzouris dropped out. Rius was in front of me. Rius was setting an awesome pace. You know, both of our Yamahas were flying out there, and that's all it took, man. Rough water, these things were excelling, and I just want to thank everybody who stood behind me.
Yesterday we talked about your first championship many years ago. How's number 10 feel?
Oh, it's awesome. These things get so much sweeter because the older I get, the more I appreciate these things, the more I appreciate the sponsors and the people behind me. Back then, I was just a skinny little kid trying to go out there and prove a point. Now, I'm not so much proving a point. I just want to go out there and do the best I can.
Congratulations, brilliant ride.
Thank you, sir. Hope to be here again next year, man.